despite there being huge scientific uncertainty still, and much of soil biodiversity still is unknown, nonetheless, as was made very clearly in Jeff's presentation, we know enough to do things differently. We know the fundamentals of soil dynamics with biodiversity, and we know that there are some very tangible, concrete actions we can take to conserve soil biodiversity so that it can provide the various benefits which are very clearly outlined in the Atlas as well. So I think it really reminds us that we do have the knowledge to act and make better decisions and policies. And yet we do need to recognise, as some of the comments have been made, the importance of soil biodiversity in some of the global policies, national policies, regional policies, and individual policies that individual landowners, farmers and gardeners, as many hands went up, take to their practices of land management. And we have some of that in place. So for example, in the Sustainable Development Goals framework, there was explicit recognition of the importance of soils and restoring degraded soils in a target there. But as I think Dana represented on the screen, soils underpin the entire suite of ambitions around the Sustainable Development Framework. And we need to recognise, articulate that clearly, so that indeed when the discussions on natural capital are taking place, and others downstairs, soils, and we shouldn't expect soils to be listed in every paragraph, that shouldn't be the ambition, but nonetheless soils are considered as part of the discussion and recognise that the value of soils, again supporting the comment that that's not the intention, one would then put prices to it and market, but to recognise the value of soils in underpinning our sustainable development agenda. And that is, I think, it remains a huge challenge. And the Atlas, I think, gives us a wonderful foundation for taking those discussions forward, communicating to the public through all sorts of ancillary products, as Arwin was mentioning, but particularly important in articulating within the policy community at different scales how and why soils are important to be considered further. Within UNEP, we have a history of recognising the importance of soils. In the 1980s, we developed with partners the World Soils Policy. It's not obvious that had a huge impact around the world, I have to admit. And more recently, our focus on soils has been much more project-based in terms of particularly our GEF portfolio on land degradation and restoration. But nonetheless, I think even within UNEP, we would see this as a benchmark occasion, a landmark occasion for taking forward a stronger focus and emphasis on how we incorporate soil biodiversity into the rest of the work we're doing. So exciting times for that too, and this is really a tremendous tool for helping to engage within UNEP and the broader UN system as to how we take forward support to our member states on recognising the importance of soil biodiversity going forwards as well. I want to briefly reflect on the issue of scale here too, because it's wonderful global maps, and for the first time we're seeing superb global maps here. Arwin mentioned the regional reports which have been done before previously too. But the important message which came across in the presentations here and comes out from the Atlas very clearly is that soil management is very much a local issue. And so we have to find a way to transcend the scales of policies, of knowledge, from very, very local plot-based scales through to the global agenda on soils as well. And I think there remains some challenges there. And maybe finally, just to quickly mention that I think although we do have a wonderful now tool bringing together the best available information, putting the best possible information together on the importance of soils and the wonder of soil biodiversity, there still remains a challenge to bring this to bear to the big global agendas on food security, on water conservation, on climate change mitigation and adaptation, and the big agenda on biodiversity conservation globally. And I think there's a lot more work we can all do, and certainly UNEP looks forward to playing a key role in supporting the next steps from this Atlas and the wonderful information and enthusiasm and awe I think it will help to inspire in people around the world. And we look forward to doing that with you all going forward. So thank you again to all of you. Congratulations, a wonderful Atlas. We look forward to working with it and taking it forwards and supporting, raising the profile, awareness and importance of soil biodiversity in the global agenda.